Welcome to the Emotional Fingerprint of an Adoptee. I'm Karen Chaston.
And I'm Kim Rankin.
How are we today, Kim?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Yes, we are well. Today we are delving into
The limbic system.
the limbic system. Now, when we first heard about this, we were like, oh my God, why didn't we know about this? Like, if we were taught it at school, I must have been snoozing in that science lesson. What do you think?
Probably.
I don't
really was.
Yes, and it's really interesting because when I was pregnant with my first son 8 years after you were born, I read the book Every Woman, and I loved it because it took us from birth all the way through until more or less we pass. So all of the experiences that women go through. And I thought, oh my God, if I'd understood this as a teenager, I don't think I would have become pregnant at 16, which would have been a shame because you wouldn't have been here. So that's obviously why I didn't read the book. So what I'm getting at is I do not remember the limbic system because I find the limbic system, it is a system that we all experience when we are born, and it is beyond the physical separation for adoptees. This is the second element of the emotional fingerprint of an adoptee. And it is the innate biological and emotional expectation for connection between the mother's limbic brain and her baby's limbic brain. So our two limbic brains connect, right? That compounds the adoptee's experience. So when we're born, your limbic brain goes looking for your mother's limbic brain, my limbic brain, and my limbic brain, after giving birth, goes looking for your limbic brain. Now, I consciously know and subconsciously know that there is separation because of the adoption.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas your limbic brain is searching, going, where is my mother? Where is the mother I have bonded with in our previous episode? And if you haven't watched it, please go back and watch it because it is the first intertwining, connecting element of the emotional fingerprint of an adoptee. The limbic brain, the limbic system, is the second element of the emotional fingerprint of an adoptee. So we highly suggest you go back and watch that episode if you have missed it. But today we're on the limbic resonance, limbic brain resonance. So you're born, you're looking for my limbic brain, okay? And because we're not physically together, yes, we are emotionally connected, but we're not physically connected, you go into panic.
Yeah.
You go into fight, flight, avoidance. Where's my mother? And you physically, a physical trait from that was you went stiff.
Yeah.
And you were not happy. Where is my mother? Yes, you weren't verbally voicing that because you were just born, but your body, it went into fight and flight because you were literally like, I need her. I've been listening to her for 9 months. I've been moving with her. I've been feeling her emotions. I know she was upset, but why is she upset with me? Why isn't she here?
Yeah. And it's a profound void. It's like that disconnection, that separation. And because it is pre-verbal, we don't have any words for it. And during the closed adoption era, there were no words for it.
No, there was no recognition of it, which I'm really surprised about. I don't know if they understood the limbic system then. That's one thing we haven't really delved into is when it actually became scientifically known about the biological, innate, emotional and psychological connection between mothers and their babies' brains, like the connection. And all you've got to do is look at a newborn baby and the way that they cling to their mother. And as soon as she walks out of the room, they're like, they go into that instant panic in many cases. They're like, where is she? Where is she? But once they can like smell her again, they're comforted. And it's really interesting. So what we're going to do now we are going to delve into, from our lesson 2 of the 8 essential lessons, we're going to delve into the limbic system
In detail.
And we'll be back shortly. Limbic resonance, the unseen bond. The limbic system, often referred to as the emotional center of the brain, plays a critical role in bonding, emotional regulation, and the development of a sense of security. From the moment of conception, a baby's limbic system begins seeking attunement with their mothers, relying on her presence to regulate emotions, provide comfort, and foster a deep sense of connection. Limbic resonance is the nonverbal emotional synchronization that occurs between mother and child. It is through this connection that the baby experiences the world, feeling the mother's emotional states, heartbeat, and rhythms. This attunement forms the foundation of the child's ability to manage stress, regulate emotions, and develop healthy relationships later in life. When this expected resonance is disrupted through separation, the baby's brain is left searching for a connection that is no longer there. This unmet need for emotional attunement can result in heightened stress responses, difficulty with emotional regulation, and a pervasive sense of something missing that follows adoptees into adulthood. The absence of limbic resonance not only affects emotional development, but also shapes the adoptee's physiological responses to stress, attachment patterns, and overall sense of well-being. Without this early regulation, adoptees may struggle with feelings of insecurity, anxiety, and an unconscious drive to seek connection in ways that may not always serve them. Understanding the role of limbic resonance allows adoptive parents and caregivers to better support adoptees by fostering environments that prioritize emotional attunement, safety, and connection. By acknowledging this unmet need, we can begin to address the deeper layers of an adoptee's emotional experience and create pathways toward healing. Welcome back. The limbic resonance between a mother and her child begins while her child is in utero. They are connected. Their limbic brains are forming a connection, and it is innate within them that when the baby is born, they will instantly, their limbic brain will go searching for their mother's limbic brain. And when that search, they need that attunement. They had it in utero, and now that they're in the world, which when you think about it, is pretty scary, all of a sudden you've been in this dark place where you've been nice and warm and you've been moving with your mother and you've been having a good time.
So
not all the time.
The expected connection.
The expected connection, expected attunement that they had. So the baby's limbic brain goes searching and the mother's not there, physically not there because of the baby for adoption. So when the baby's search is met with absence instead of presence, it creates a profound void, reinforcing feelings of loss, disconnection, longing.
Yeah.
And I feel that starts to form their lower self-worth.
Yeah.
Where's my mother?
Yeah.
Where is she?
And it feeds into the primal wound.
Yes, it's the foundation, isn't it, of the primal wound. It's how the primal wound begins to form. So here we are, 2 episodes in to the 4 intertwined connection of the emotional fingerprint of an adoptee.
Yeah.
So last episode we explored the emotional umbilical cord, which starts from conception.
Yes.
Okay. The same time that physical umbilical cord is created, so is the emotional umbilical cord. Then as the baby starts to develop, their connection happens even more through the limbic system. And then
the absence of limbic resonance not only affects emotional development, but also how they deal with stress and regulate their emotions.
Yes.
So this is carried throughout life.
It is carried throughout life if left unaddressed.
That's right.
Now, if it was recognised and therefore the caregivers would have all caregivers, not only their adoptive parents, but also if the biological mothers were aware of this, they would never have put their baby through that. If the people who the adoption practices would have taken into consideration, you know, when this is the limbic system and how it is formed. And while we were in the break, we did actually look up when this all started to become common knowledge. And even though it started having slight research in the 1800s and everything, it was only it was around 1950, 1970 that they started to look at it, but they never really formed the deep connection between their mother and her child up until the late 21st century.
Whilst it was being recognised that there was some
we did have a limbic system.
Yeah.
It wasn't really recognised as being as profound as what it is now.
Maternal separation.
Yes. But it is recognised now. So the adoption industry is hopefully recognising this connection, this limbic connection between the biological mothers and their children. So that's the limbic system for us. So in our next episode, we will be diving into
the primal wound,
which has started its foundations based on this unmet need for attunement from the limbic system. So thank you again for being here, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you.